Hey guys, this is Ben and Rob from bensrpgpile.com, and we're kind of giving you walking you through what it's like to create a encounter or a module from scratch and how we're going to do that. And so we're going to be doing a delve for Comic-Con that's coming up in May, and so we're just documenting how that's going. So kind of where we're at is Rob and I last week drew a map of the delve that we're going to essentially build and have on the game table. So this is our really high tech fancy sketch that was done by an architect.
We have our own firm.
Yeah. And so basically we thought you guys might find it interesting to see all the different steps that are involved in creating. We're just going to show you what it takes to create a wall. But ultimately, this map that we've kind of drawn out, it needs to kind of look like this kind of setup. If you want to show them this real quick, Rob. So see, this is the kind of thing that we're going to set up.
Ultimate goal here.
Yeah, on our game table is, we're going to create rooms, but you can't really put any rooms together unless you make the pieces. And the big quandary that Rob and I are kind of in is that, yeah, we've cast a lot of pieces, but if we use the stuff that we've already made, what are we going to use for our regular monthly game?
Yeah.
That you guys can actually watch on our iTunes channel, and that's us playing the Thunderspire Labyrinth module right now. We're doing that campaign. So we can't use our existing pieces. We got to make new pieces. So we thought we'd show you real quick what it takes to kind of just make all those pieces. So
sure, absolutely.
You start with your hydrocal, which is just kind of a plaster resin kind of thing, and that's just plain old powder, right? So you essentially mix that together. And after you do that, it does look a lot like cocaine, but it is not cocaine.
We promise that we keep the cocaine over in the fridge.
This jar, yeah. And then what you essentially do is you mix that together and you cast it into a mold, like so. And that mold, after it dries, it pops out and you get your pieces, right? So kind of breaks those out, and then you get these little chunks, and you kind of do it. So you get that, right?
It's really easy, but Ben's always bitching about it. I had to make some walls. Oh, here's a bag. Go make. No, I'm just kidding. It is quite a process.
It is.
It's very intriguing as well.
Yeah, it'll kind of blow you guys away to see how many different things you got to do, and hopefully this won't come off as intimidating. It's a lot of fun actually, but I mean it does. You don't do it in a weekend. Rob and I will be making these terrain pieces for many, many weeks to come. So,
and in most cases, when you're just gaming with your group, you're reusing pieces. So what we're undertaking right now is a little bit different. As Ben indicated, we have to keep that going while at the same time getting ready for the delve. So.
Yeah, because like in our normal game, we'll lay down 2 rooms at a time maybe, right? But in the one that we're creating for Comic-Con, we have to lay, we're pretty ambitious, and we're thinking about 14 rooms, and we have to have those all laid out. So we can't.
And they have to be ready to go in an instant. So.
Yeah, so we're not able to just put down 2 rooms at a time. So you kind of see the pieces dry. They come out here, and you essentially just get all those different kinds of things. And we just make walls and floor tiles, and then doors and some other little accessory room pieces. But basically the hardcore is you got your floors and your walls. So you pop these out, then you glue them together in different combinations, right? Different wall heights and the way they glue together and all that good stuff. And then from there, you actually have to prime and paint them, right? And then that ultimately gets you this, right? And then we're actually going to do the same thing with floors. Like we would use the powder again. And then we would actually use this mold, and these molds are from Hearst Arts. You use this mold, and then it gets you pieces, and then you essentially end up with floor tiles like that, and they're in the D20 squares. So notice there's 6 different pieces here. This is 9 different pieces. So I'm going to cast a mold, and I've essentially made 1 square, right? And Rob and I are probably going to need a good maybe 100.
60 to 100?
Yeah, 60 to 100 squares. So we'll be doing this a lot. But it's worth it in the end because I know that what I love the most is I want to make, you can draw with a dry erase and you can map out your rooms and everything, and there's nothing wrong with that, but what I love is I like to make the map come up, essentially be 3D, and I just think it gives a little more excitement to the module when you're playing. So that's kind of the step we're in. We're in the we've kind of made our tile or made our map, and now Rob and I are going to start making the pieces to build it out.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, and basically just to get, and what we've kind of done to this point is we've done a story arc. We've got the game mechanics pretty good. We're fleshing out the encounter level, the everything that goes with that, and we've got our title, Lava and a Cup of Java, of Comicon 4E Dungeon Delve. And right now the guys are working on the the title. They're working on the title art.
Yes.
Yeah, the flyer and the
yeah, and logo. Yeah. So logo is actually coming along pretty well. We saw a first design of both the flyer and the logo yesterday.
Yeah.
So we kicked around some ideas to improve those and get exactly the pieces that we were expecting. So
yeah, and really Gabe and Jason, who are just phenomenal designers that we work with and are part of our game group and everything, they've kind of made first drafts, and now they are just tweaking. So yeah. we talked about, because we need a flyer that is essentially we can hang up and put in our game store, Gamers in Mesa, Arizona, and then we need flyers at the register that people can take away, and then we need to make a PDF that where people want to register for the delve, they can click and see the PDF before they register. But then we also need to have a really tiny logo that we can put in smaller spots that we might, in a program, we might get, just a tiny little bit of space. So we kind of had to make two different versions of the art. So that's kind of the spot we're in now, and that is actually on a very intense timeline. So
yeah, it is.
But that's kind of the deal. That's kind of what we're going to do. And again, we'll keep showing you guys the different steps as we go. We'll show you how. I think we'll get to a point we'll probably have a really cool shot where, a little while from now, you guys will see a whole bunch of terrain that we've cast, and it'll be, piled up on a table, and you'll see, hopefully it'll kind of blow you away. It's amazing that this little cup of powder makes something really great like that.
And that is the step we're on.
Yes, we're on the powder step. So there it is, guys. This is Ben and Rob from bensrpgpile.com. You can say hey to us on Twitter. You can catch us on iTunes and download our game podcast. You can read our weekly blog where we go through and we review stuff that we use in our game, and we give you our honest opinion about it, and we show you the different uses, and we take in-game photos of it, and we do that blog about once a week. So there you go. We'll talk to you guys soon.